Thanks, Cole. Hey, Patrick. You said after day 3 at the Gabba that was more challenging than day 1 when you had to take a lot of calls. So can you just put into perspective what today was like just for Captain Cummins?
I'd say firstly it was a lot of fun. Having a lot of runs on the board meant we could get pretty creative, and I always felt like we're looking for wickets as opposed to trying to save a match or anything like that. So it was a lot of fun. Probably the hardest thing to do is try and choose amongst our 5 bowlers that we have, plus Smithy and Marnus. But Phil, like I was able to make quite a few calls. Some came off, some didn't. But it was good fun.
Nick Savage.
Pat, well played. Tough luck with the result, though. This is the 3rd time in 12 months that the bowlers haven't quite been able to get the job done on the 5th day of the test. Do you see that as a problem? And if so, how can the bowlers start to, look to rectify that in the coming test matches?
I think, 2 of them have been here at the SCG. I think the day 5 wicket doesn't play like a traditional broken up day 5 wicket. I think, we gave ourselves up. We're hoping for 110 plus overs. We thought that'd be enough, but kind of in the back of our mind, we knew it's may potentially be a bit of a grind out there. It's something we always look at. I think from this year compared to last year, I think we made some improvements. We probably stuck at some plans a little bit longer. It's when you're that far ahead of the game, of course you want to win it. But I thought England played well. I was really proud with how everyone went. Plans we had, we stuck at it. Thought we bowled quite well. Just got close, just not close enough.
Andrew McGlashan. Andrew, you there, mate? He's disappeared. We might go to Mal.
Pat, there's been quite a bit of discussion, obviously, about that declaration. Can you talk us through the thinking behind the timing? Because obviously you were sort of well ahead in the game.
I think first of all, the weather played a bit of a part in this game, and basically just learned that we can't predict it at all. I wanted around about 3.5 and over. I thought the wicket was still not playing too many tricks. I thought if they batted really well, they could, 350 is pretty achievable out there. So I wanted to give us kind of enough time. I thought 110 overs is enough time. But having the luxury after the way Greenie and Usman batted to have enough runs in the bank that we could, effectively attack for those whole 110 overs.
Thank you.
Mel Farrell.
Thanks, Cole. Thanks, Patrick. Just wondering if you could sort of talk us through the last part of that game and it being the old foes of Broad and Anderson having to survive, and generally what you've made of England's batting through all those injuries, the difference you may have seen in them in this test.
I much prefer when Anderson and Broad are batting rather than bowling together. In terms of the batting, honestly, I'm probably not the right person to comment on it. I thought they held out well. I think the pitch played quite differently to the first 3 test matches. There wasn't a lot of sideways movement, a lot of swing, or even really a lot of spin for Lino. But I thought they played well. In terms of the significance of Broad and Anderson, I honestly hadn't really thought about it. I was just pretty pumped that it was number 10, 11 out there.
Thanks.
Scott Bailey.
Yeah, Pat, just wondering your thoughts on, I know you're not a selector, you keep saying that Usman Khawaja made a point of coming in here last night and saying that he doesn't expect to play in Hobart. When a guy scores twin tons, is that really, a probability, do you think? Or do you think he sort of does enough to keep his spot? And also, on the other end of the spectrum, Joe Richardson's back next game, bowl reports. So how you sort of see that bowling attack looking, given what Scott Boland's done the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'll preface it by saying I'm not a selector, but if someone comes out and hits twin hundreds, it's pretty hard to go past them for the week after, I think. So we'll look, we'll work through that. The selectors will work through it over the next few days, but someone's running hot, got a heap of experience like Aussie. The way he played was just fantastic. Jai, it's a good problem to have. Mike Vanessa played in the last pink ball game as well. I think we've got 6 or 7 days. I actually haven't looked at the schedule, but I think it's 6 or 7 days. So we'll take our time. We'll see how all the bowlers pull up. Scotty was a little bit sore, so too early to probably talk about all those kind of things until we get down there and have a look at the wicket and see how everyone pulls up.
Tim Miller. Doesn't look like we got Tim. We'll go to Ben Horn.
Okay. I know Steve got your wicket there in his second last over, but were you disappointed that they asked you to go to the spinner rather than bowling Scott there at the end?
I would like to bowl Scott, but I think it was probably the right decision. To be fair, it was pretty dark out there. Disappointed couldn't use Scotty, even Greenie. I think I told Greenie to warm up about 5 times. But just it's probably the luxury of having 5 bowlers. You can only bowl 2 at a time. It is what it is. It was pretty dark. I think they made the right call.
Mate, how did you feel? Have you ever been under the lid before in a test match? And how did you enjoy the tension, I suppose, of 8 fieldsmen around the bat?
I don't think I've ever been under a lid fielding ever. I was trying to remember whether I did it in junior cricket. It was fun. It's hard with the grill. You can't see the ball where it goes. I don't know how they do it. It was a lot of fun. The last hour or two, you're normally setting a field to try and take wickets, but stop runs. It was purely just where do we think a catch might go. So it was good fun. Loved it.
Dan Breddick.
G'day, Pat. Just a question that may be a little bit left field here, but what's your view on, I suppose, more flexible sort of times for breaks during Test match play? I know there are a few instances in this game where you had rain when you were meant to be playing, but you also had sort of clear skies when it was meant to be lunch or tea. Like, is that something that you think could be a little bit more flexible?
It's always spoken about. It's kind of the traditions of Test cricket. I think even on day one, we gave a bit of an allowance for kind of the anthems and opening ceremony, which was kind of sunlight there for a little while. So I don't know the answers, but I think if it's not raining and we've been sitting down all morning, let's try and play as much cricket as we can.
And I suppose does it sort of hit home a little bit in a game like this where it does come down to just a few overs at the end of 5 days, and you kind of look back at the time that could be made up in a few ways?
I mean, I suppose so. We lost 7 overs today, but we still had a big day. I think it was 90 overs or so. It's probably more those other days where you feel like you're sitting down for half the day, and because it's raining and then it's sunny for a big portion, you have big breaks. But it's been around forever. It's one of the traditions. I'd be happy if we found some more overs somehow.
Okay.
2 more to go here, guys. Rob Forsyth, and we'll finish off with Dan Cherney. Rob.
Hey, Pat. JL said after day 3 that the coming days and sort of England fighting back with development as a captain, I sort of appreciate it's quite fresh, but do you feel like you learn things? Is there anything that stands out that you do differently if given the chance?
I certainly learned a lot. I felt even from the second innings compared to the first, I felt a lot calmer, in control. I felt like we kind of managed the pace of the game, better than we might have perhaps at times in the first innings. There's a few things, I was waiting on Scotty Boland and, a few other things that we had to manage at the same time. But I felt, a lot more in control that second innings. So that was a bit of a learning, just to take that extra second and take that breath at the top of the mark and speak to the bowler and have really clear plans.
And just a quick one on Usman's form, on how well he played this test. Do you see him as, quite a versatile batter, as someone who can bat anywhere in the order, or would you feel comfortable if he was asked to open in Hobart?
Yeah, I mean, he was, I guess that's why he was a spare batter and picked in the squad originally, felt like he could replace any batter 1 to 6, really well. I think he's hugely versatile. Even I know he's, there's been question marks historically on him playing over in Asia, but you see how well he's played spin recently, reverse sweeping. He's just someone who's in total command of his game, and that's why you love experience. And 2 centuries, that rarely happens in a career. Someone to come back in his first test, fantastic.
Last one, guys. Dan Cherney.
Okay, Pat. Thanks. I know you touched a bit on the declaration earlier, but just to clarify, were you willing to risk defeat to chase victory? Was that sort of what was going through your mind yesterday? Were you like, I just want to bat England out of the game first, or I need to settle 350? But, can you sort of explain that a little bit more?
No, yeah, absolutely. I don't think we needed to hand it to them on a platter, but for sure we're willing to risk, England winning. I thought round about 3.5 runs per over was similar to, I think the game was ticking along around about that rate, maybe about 3 runs per over. I thought, 100 or 110 or so overs at that rate still gave him a little bit of a cherry if a couple of batters got him.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.